today we are going to give you a market update, so stay tuned and find out what's going to happen in 2026. Today we are here with Chris Hill. He has come by to basically talk about the market. We did this, we've done this a couple times.
I feel like we did it the last time, like similar like time frame. It feels like it was the end of the year, and
we're doing a little bit different now. Now we're in the office. We've got a little bit nicer equipment, so hopefully everybody can hear us much better instead of standing outside under Solomon's Bridge or something like that.
Which still might do that too.
Yeah, maybe. So this was a very interesting year. Like we've been doing, I know I've been going different places. Right. I've been going different places, and we've been doing kind of wrap ups, and everybody wanted to know what happened this year. How was it? This, that, it was something.
You know, what's funny is I've seen so many like recently, like all the economists and everything that they're predicting, and they're like, they're not looking very favorably back on 2025, right?
Yeah.
For me, I don't think it was a great year at all, honestly, personally, in real estate.
It's hard.
It's hard.
I'm talking to processors, I'm talking to loan officers, I'm talking to a lot of different people, and even realtors. Right. You know, as they're going along, every deal is difficult.
I mean, I don't know. You're exactly right. Every single deal more difficult than ever. It seems like. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I mean, we're trying to make every single deal work, and it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, prices are up. Rates are actually normal. I don't want to say rates are high. They're high compared to people's perspective of 2019,
that artificial rate of 2.5%.
Right.
It's not there, and hopefully never. No offense. Hopefully never will be again.
And people are still sitting on the fence with refis at 7.5, going, well, it's at 6, but I want to wait till it gets to 4. So I'm like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are living in their rate and not living in their home right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they're living in that great interest rate they have. And so so that's what all the indicators are saying that's the case anyway, right? Like that's what they're all saying.
Well, and my son and I were having a talk today. We're discussing rates and things like that. And I think there's still a lot of people out there in that 2%, 3% interest rate, and they're sitting.
They are.
They don't want to change and go to a 6%.
Right.
So even though they've got a lot of equity built up in their house, it's really hard to go from a $1,800, $1,600 payment to $2,800, $3,000, unless you really like the pain is great. Right? Either your house is way too big and you don't need to be there anymore.
You have to have a need now, right? Like it has to have you not just because it's not necessarily just because you want a nicer house. You can, maybe you're going to spend the money on fixing that house up now, right?
Right.
But you have to have a need, like family, or that's the big trend is moving near family, or actually bringing family in is another thing too.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did it. Right after COVID, I moved my dad over here with us.
Yeah.
And we bought a little bit bigger house, but it was because I was moving him out of his. He was selling his house. He was moving in with us to take care of him, and we see a lot of that. Yeah. I'm starting to see people downsizing. I think we just closed one yesterday.
Yeah.
They downsized to into a 55 and over.
Actually that's a real good point. And I don't want to jump into stats because I bore people with numbers, but I heard something yesterday. Do you know that the median age of a home seller in the country, take a guess what you think? You probably know it already.
Don't. I could guess.
64 years old.
Home seller?
Home seller.
Really?
Median age.
Wow.
Yeah, half up, half down. Median age is 64. I was blown away by that.
What do you think it was 5-6 years ago?
Well, that's the thing. I feel like there was a lot of first-time home buyers, so maybe that's like
and that's if you're talking home seller though. Like, so let's say you buy a house when you're 21, 23, whatever. You're selling it. You get married, start having kids. It's too small.
So that's another stat that I heard. I'm already digging into stats, but when I started in this business, the average person lived in their home 5 to 7 years. Now it's over 11. So now if you think about that would attribute to the 64-year-old home seller.
And I'm not sure that's going to change too much.
No. I think a lot of the younger people are more paralyzed by rate than some of the people and that's why home sellers have their equity in their home. They're more so we have two different barometers here, especially when you have the first time home buyer that's going to be maybe needs a better rate, and those sorts of things.
I mean, really, let's look at this though. You've got young kids, and I worry about my kids.
Well, I do too.
You know,
I get it.
they're in college, getting out of college. One, it's hard as hell to find a job.
Well, right.
And two, if you do find a job, I don't think incomes have increased the same as home prices and the cost of goods.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I went Christmas shopping the other day. Pair of sweatpants, like Dick's Sporting Goods, Nike
Right.
sweatpants, $145. Who's
You're
paying
buying
for that?
bougie sweatpants, Darren. You're
Nike,
buying
really? Who's paying for that?
No, right. You're right. Who's paying for it? Right.
I mean, that's insane.
that is.
I mean, I looked at one flannel shirt. And granted, it was a nicer shirt.
Right.
I don't want to get into names, things
Yeah,
like
right,
that.
right.
But it was $95.
Yeah, it's
for a shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
It is just crazy, and sales prices, home prices haven't. But I did see interesting enough that like the median sales price over the last actually I'll say 4 years.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of flatlined. It hasn't. It doesn't feel like it, but I think it was like 441 this year, something like that. But just 3 years ago it was 425.
Well, I know our average loan amount that we see
Yeah.
has gone up dramatically. I mean,
Mhm.
in 10 years, it's doubled, more than doubled, just personally looking at it.
Right.
But its last 3 years has gone up every year.
Well, but what I was just talking about, but in 2019, that same sales price was 315, right? So it skyrocketed up to get to the 420s, and
Right.
so
And I think that's one of the things we're looking at is there's so many people that are looking at things and going, well, this is just way too expensive.
yeah,
I can't afford. Well, it's not the interest rate though. Don't blame the interest rate.
right,
I think you have to look at the cost of a house, everything else. I mean, for instance, we had an event for the company, and we had economists come in. One of them talked about new construction and how that was going to be a big thing. The average, he said, new construction. I think he said 33%. And you used to do the new construction and sales. 33% of the cost of a home is fluff. It's
I
permits, it's fees,
I believe it.
it's it's not the house.
no.
It's the actual, I guess, permitting and fees
Well,
and
that's
prep to build.
100% driving affordability in housing. Like when you have bureaucracy and fees upon fees, when it costs you $35,000 to put the shovel in the ground, or $50,000 in some jurisdictions, right, to put a shovel in the ground to build your home. I don't care if you're building a duplex, a townhome, or a 20,000 square foot mansion. At the end of the day, it costs too much to start the process.
Right.
That's a whole nother soapbox for me to get on, because it drives me crazy when if somebody, you could buy a piece of land. So I don't always advise people to buy a piece of land and build a house on it anymore. Used to be the way to go. You could get a more affordable house and
you get what you want.
Get what you wanted. And you still can. Let me be real. You still can, and I don't want to scare buyers away from that
But
opportunity.
it's not something a first-time home buyer should be doing.
Absolutely not. It's not the
It's
same as it
difficult.
used to be because the upfront cost is so much.
And you talk to some of these local builders, not national,
Right.
Right? They've got a machine. I mean,
That's right.
It
Pickup
works.
truck builder.
They know how to do it.
Right.
The local custom one-off, everything else,
Yeah.
are getting destroyed by county fees and bureaucracy and how long it actually takes them to get something done.
Yeah, and I think that all of those things add up, and it makes it harder on these buyers. I don't want to. I feel like we're like on the negative train there. What's going on here?
I mean, that's where it always leads. But
I know. I don't want to be that way because, look, let me spin it for a second, right? At the end of the day, it's always a good opportunity to buy a house, right? If you're a
Right.
first-time home buyer, I had this conversation with my son early on, like get a house as soon as you can because the opportunity is, even if it's something that you're not going to live in for, 7 years or 5 years or whatever it is, get it because your opportunities are so vastly larger to get equity and come out of it in a positive light. It really is a better opportunity. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So don't, there's, and you and I both know there are ways and there are opportunities, there are ways to make things work.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's
Absolutely.
deals out there. There's still opportunities out there. So always get,
And we're doing it. And I think that's one of the things that's making one so hard is we're trying to help every single borrower,
Yeah.
every single client that we have get into the home the best possible way. Whether it's first time home buyer program, down payment assistance, grants, whatever it may be. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but you got to do the work.
Yeah, and maybe that's why maybe that answers the first question we had at the very beginning. Is like that's why it's harder for us, right? Because we're working harder at it.
So let's go back to the very beginning.
Got it.
Let's talk about next year. This year we've already kind of discussed.
Yeah.
I think you sent me a video the other day, and it had a picture of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
right?
Whether he's holding the trophy.
He's holding the trophy.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the year, like, oh, this is great. I'm going to kill it. It's going to be the best year yet.
Right.
And then you get to the end of the year, and it's another picture of Jack
And
Nicholson.
he looks like a homeless guy.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Just absolutely destroyed. And that's usually what December.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing? What are you thinking this year? Or this year coming up, 2026?
I've made it my mission the last month and a half to watch all the economists I can and learn as much as I can from them. I'm telling you, for the first time in a long time, all of them are kind of like on the same page, which is very reassuring if it really comes to fruition.
So
right?
what's the title of the page? What would it be?
What do you mean? Like what?
Yeah.
What are we gonna have?
Resounding. It's going to be what?
It's gonna be 2019.
Okay.
That's what it's gonna be.
So that's pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
That's when rates actually start dropping.
They actually expect us to have a spring market,
which is great.
We have not had in years an actual spring market.
I had heard, so we had economists come in as well.
Yeah.
Both of them kind of agreed that there will be more inventory and more buyers.
We don't have it right now.
No, but I mean, we're also Christmas, right?
True.
So next year there will be an influx of buyers hitting the market, more inventory, which we're already seeing. Right? Inventory is already piling up, which is
great. And we get a lot of people talking about listing their house in the first of the year.
But both of them also agreed that we are not going to see much lower rates. Rates are going to pretty much stay.
You're exactly right. They're all saying that.
There's going to be a trading range, 5.75 to 6.25. And I've been saying that for a while, but I really think for those who I sent a video out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Anybody looking to refi that's on the fence, you really need to. It's like buying stocks.
Yeah.
Peaks and valleys.
Right.
Lock your rate at the bottom because it may not stay there long. You may be a short window of locking at a rate, and a week later it's 0.5% up again.
I used to use this. So when I started in 2009 in real estate as a real estate agent, they gave us a booklet of kind of introduce yourself, kind of new to it and what you got to do. What was funny is they had a rate chart. That rate chart started at 6%. So the rate chart
that was the bottom.
That was the bottom. The lowest you could get was 6%. So that's kind of telling, right? If you think about it, but the lowest was 6%. Everything was up from there, up to like 12%,
we're not much different.
Yeah.
You're low fives.
Yeah.
But you're out of touch. You can't get there because the number of points, you can't charge it.
Right.
You're 4 or 5 points for 5.25.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
it's not crazy. It's opportunity.
It's a great, look, when I started, first time home buyer rate, everything through Merrill Mortgage program, all that was like 6.25.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. People were excited.
Yep.
Again, going back down will be doom and gloom, but houses were a lot cheaper.
Well, that's true.
We were doing houses that were $80,000.
But income was lower than too.
Income was lower, but yeah,
maybe not in the same scale. But
if you compared it to, you can't, because that $180,000 house is now over 300.
Right.
But that person who was making $40,000 isn't making $80,000 at the same job.
Right.
So they're not keeping up with each other.
Yeah. So
that's the hard part. It is frustrating.
Yeah. It is. But I think there is some positive going into next year. I think we're gonna. The new construction is a concern for us in Southern Maryland.
Yeah.
Really, because I don't think there's a lot of local jurisdictions that are enabling it. So that's a whole nother problem that we're going to be dealing with. And that is nationally, that's a big push for more housing.
And you're a member of, you're past president of MAR.
You're right.
And SMAR and all that. And you're all heavy on the politics side and legislature. What are you seeing in other areas of Maryland? You're talking to a bunch of people.
No, actually, I'm glad you're saying that because, across the state is very different. Each jurisdiction is very different, but kind of fundamentally the same. there's been a big push for less housing actually from the public, but we need it. We have such a shortage.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to, there's a lot of opportunities for mixed use, larger development, adaptive, converting old malls into housing.
Yeah.
And we need to be more open to those opportunities, and we haven't been over many years, right? And some jurisdictions banning townhouses. Well, we need multifamily. We need multifamily dwellings. We need them. It's not that we want them. We need them. And if we don't start thinking that way, we're going to run out of housing really quick.
I saw Anne Arundel County was trying to pass legislation for the first development or community of the small homes,
Like tiny homes, yeah.
Whatever you call them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's being proposed.
Well, it's interesting. There was a project in Southern Maryland that was supposed to be tiny homes too,
Yeah.
and it got it had everybody up in arms, and somebody gets upset.
I mean, you can order them from Amazon. It's very,
right.
They come and you unpack them like a
Right.
Christmas gift.
Right.
It's
Unpack your house.
I mean, that may be what we see in the not so far off future.
And that's but you have to, but again, we get back to the jurisdiction and the politics of it all, and you have to be able to allow water and sewer categories. You have to have the water and sewer infrastructure in place. And, now that I get you on the politics soapbox for a second, one that gets me every time is like they talk about the roads and the impact of the housing houses on the roadways and traffic and all that jazz. I hate to tell you guys, they're already here. They're living in their parents' basements.
Yeah.
So they're already on the roads. No more impact than what we've had before. They're already here, and they're living in their parents' basements.
You're just putting them in a different household.
Just putting them in a different household. So stop that already, right? Let's start thinking of ways to make things happen instead of thinking of ways to not let them happen.
I mean, we're a small community down here.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of industry. We don't have a lot of big box stores, things like that, where people are coming in for jobs and they're hiring hundreds of people every year.
Yeah.
Unlike, let's say, Frederick, Maryland,
Right.
which has an influx of industry, Amazon and an IT quarter, everything else.
And a whole corridor to get in and out of. They're like, good travel.
And it's booming in those areas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, and people are flocking there.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Right. And as long as they enable good multifamily and housing and affordable housing for people to live there.
Yeah.
See, because here's the thing, that's a great example. If it's 30% less to live in West Virginia, then people are going to commute.
Oh yeah, and they're doing it.
They're doing it now, right?
They're doing it.
So that's something that we have to. Maryland has to make some big changes. Period. In the way we do things, or we're going to be really stuck with some serious problems in the future. We kind of already have some of them. So. But,
well, Chris, I want to thank you for coming in. I mean, we could.
I know we always talk
and
go
for
hours.
More and more. Especially when we start getting into politics and everything. I know you spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
Up in Annapolis and with Mar and the political side of it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, but let me before we shut out one thing. Yeah, right. No, one thing I want to say is the thing that I love about working with you and that you and I have, I think that we share is like. It doesn't, all this stuff is important, but at the end of the day, the number one thing that we work for is for our clients, right?
Okay.
So we're going to help whoever you are, whatever your situation is, we're going to work together to make sure that they get what they want, right?
Yeah.
And that's the heart of this business that I really love, right? And I wanted to put that out there because, we're not all numbers all the time, right? We deal with people who have lost family members and need to scale their house back. I mean, a million different reasons. And young families growing. And so that's the exciting part about this business. And that's the exciting part about 2019, that we're going to be able to help a lot of people.
Yeah. And I'd love to see that because that was a great year.
Yeah.
And if we can get people coming back out to look at houses and not dwelling on the past as far as interest rates, we'd be much better off.
For sure.
So Chris Hill, real estate agent, Century 21 in Southern Maryland. So give him a call if you need anything with real estate or have any questions. But I'm glad you came in today.
It was fun.
And tune in for more. We have more coming up for the rest of the year. We're going to try and put one of these out. Maybe, I don't want to say every week. We're going to do a lot more of these. How about that?
It'll be more fun.
So you guys have a great holiday, and we'll talk to you soon.